To explain what modern management is all about, it's worth explaining traditional IT first. Traditional IT is where users normally have a single company-owned device provided to them, and their IT department have probably put a lot of effort into imaging that device and setting it up. So the device is ordered and the manufacturer sends it out to the IT department. They then begin that manual process of wiping it clean, deploying a new image that has a specific OS version, drivers, and then company applications. The IT department will have to keep this image up to date with all the changes that happen to operating systems, drivers, and applications. It is a lot of heavy lifting for them. There's a lot of management and time that goes into this process. Modern IT is where users have multiple devices, some company provided, some of them are their own. The apps they're using are mostly cloud managed and SaaS apps. The provisioning process of these devices can be automated and done by the users themselves. Like resetting your own password and managing your own groups, Microsoft are continuing that theme of taking a lot of time-consuming tasks away from IT and allowing users the flexibility to manage themselves and the devices they use in a simple and secure way. It's the same with modern management, making it simple for IT to manage configuration, security front of mind, with a smaller footprint so you have less to manage, which frees up a lot of IT time. Microsoft Config Manager, which is the tool for traditional management, has been around for 25 years and it's not going away anytime soon. There's still millions and millions of devices that are managed by Config Manager, but the future really is with Intune for management from the cloud. Intune used to be just about managing mobile phones, where you can deploy a configuration profile, applications, forcing device compliance and protecting the data within the applications themselves with policies. Now you can unify management tools across platforms. Android, iOS, macOS, Windows PCs. So you can now leverage cloud to broaden your IT management reach, removing the need for users to connect to the corporate network. Intune can be customized for the out-of-the-box experience for users with configuration policies applied as soon as they type in their company credentials to the device for the first time. When you combine Intune device compliance with Azure Active Directory Conditional Access, the device will only be allowed to access company data if those configuration policies are still in place. For example, think about a Windows 10 device where Intune has set Windows Defender to be required. If that device ever has Windows Defender disabled, it won't be allowed access to any company data or applications until Defender is enabled and the device is compliant again. So that's conditional access, protecting the front door, looking at Intune to say, thumbs up, it's compliant and I can let them through, or thumbs down, they're not compliant, I won't let them through. A great thing about Intune is that this works across all supported operating systems, Windows, macOS, iOS, Android. Intune is increasing the level of management all the time, and with our recent partnership with Jamf, Intune can now provide a really deep level of management for macOS too. This will help bring the level of management on par with Windows, Android and iOS. As people move from Config Manager to Intune, sometimes they discover there are things that Intune can't do yet. And this is because Config Manager is much more mature, so it's got a lot more functionality. And this is where Intune management extensions can come in and should unblock that blocker. So if there's a feature in Config Manager, a setting in group policy, or you need to do some troubleshooting on Win32 apps, you can use Intune management extensions to run custom PowerShell scripts on those Windows 10 devices. Now this really does fill a gap and open up a huge amount of functionality to modern management. Let's talk about CoManagement, which is a hugely significant feature that's there to help with that transition from Config Manager to Intune. It's where devices can be joined to Active Directory and Azure Active Directory at the same time, and managed by Config Manager and Intune at the same time. This means that instead of IT making that jump from Config Manager to Intune in one big go, they can take smaller steps, moving over one workload at a time. Moving over your application deployment, then once that's complete, moving on to the management of your updates. This really does change the speed in which people can move to the cloud. With regards to operating systems, Windows 10, macOS, Android, iOS are constantly adding new features, so no one's standing still. So it makes sense to have an agile cloud management tool that exposes those features instantly to the administrator, and with a flick of a switch they can turn it on or off with just one click. So to wrap up, modern management is about management for the modern workplace that enables multiple device platforms, both user and business owned, automated proactive IT processes, and a secure, seamless experience for users and administrators.